Chapter 1, Lesson 5 is going to be on negative exponents. We've got two pieces to start off with. The first one is the zero exponent, which I talked about in the previous video. We just have to remember that any number or variable raised to the zero power just becomes a 1. And when we saw that before, simply it was if I take x to the 0 power, it's going to equal 1. Doesn't matter how big or how small x is, it's always going to equal 1. What we're going to add to that is negative exponents. When I see a negative exponent, it tells me that I have to move that piece, just the piece with the negative exponent, to a different location. If the negative exponent is on top, say like a division problem, it must move to the bottom. If it's on the bottom, then it has to move to the top. Copy down these definitions, because without really looking at it with an example, it might seem a little abstract to you. Pause the video right now if you need to, finish copying, but we're going to shift to some examples now. All right, so first example I want to look at is if I have 6 to the negative 3. With 6 to the negative 3, there's some things to talk about. It's a whole number to the negative third power. So we need to determine whether it's on top or the bottom. As a side note, something to think about is if I take 6 to the negative 3, I can turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1, telling me that that 6 to the negative 3 is actually on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and flip it over, putting the 1 on top, putting the 6 to the third now on the bottom. Notice, though, this time it is a positive 3, not a negative 3. Whenever you actually change the location or flip the piece over, you must make it a positive. Here's another example of that. A to the negative 5. I'm going to flip it underneath and turn it positive. You could be asked to do this the other way around. You could be asked to look at, say, 1 over 5 to the 5th. You could be asked to write that using negative exponents. To do so, since it's on the bottom, you just flip it over and change the exponent to a negative. So you have to be careful with the exponent, what the problem is asking you to do. If it asks you to write using only positive exponents, then your problems are going to look like the red and the green. But you could be asked to go and do a problem like this, where you're asked to write using negative exponents. They're going to test you to see if you really know the material. So let's look at how can we multiply or divide with negative exponents involved. Well, our first example here, 5 to the third times 5 to the negative 5th. If we recall, when multiplying powers with the same base, I'm going to go and add the exponents together. So I'm going to do 3 plus negative 5. When that simplifies, it becomes 5 to the negative 2. But we're not done, because This problem will ask us to write using only positive exponents. So when I see that 5 to the negative 2, I must turn it over, and then let's go ahead and solve. 1 over 5 squared, well, 5 squared is just 25. So my answer is 1 over 25, or 1/25. What if I had division? What if I had W minus 1 over W minus 4? So W to the negative first divided by W to the negative fourth. The rule was we take the exponents and subtract them. So negative 1 minus 4, minus negative 4, I apologize. When I look at this, I have minus a negative, which if you recall, makes it positive. So I'm solving negative 1 plus 4. So when I reduce and simplify, it's W to the third power. Couple more examples. If I have n to the ninth times n to the negative fourth, since I am multiplying, I must add my exponents, meaning it's now n to the positive fifth. And for the last example, 11 squared divided by 11 to the fourth. Since I am dividing, I'm going to subtract my exponents, giving me 11 to the negative 2. Since it's negative, I'm going to take it and flip it over to say 1 over 11 squared. This video is a quick one. Negative exponents just build on top of everything else we have done in this chapter. Please stop the video, go back, and rewatch it to ensure you understand how to use negative exponents.